Well, it took just 2 months to build what is now known as Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. The first race held here 60 years ago. Some 35,000 fans came out to see 100 cars race that day, and Pete Lovely take the checkered flag. That car here, the Ferrari, that is now in a private collection. Did you know, Mike, it took some 60 phone calls to track that car down, and it's here today.
Wonderful.
And we're going to see who wins the final race of the Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion for 2017 right now. Here we go. Green flag waves, and they're off.
Chevy torque in that Scott Sharp Duracell Camaro leads the pack out of turn 2. The Mazda had the top end but didn't have the torque, and Ackerman took advantage. Right with him. I think that's Chris Liebenberg in 63.
There's Walt Brown in his pink machine, which by the way is the original color on that car.
That's Keith Fraser in his Mercury 63. There goes the Mazda, making the pass. Once they get up to speed, that Mazda will be working. There's Liebenberg in his number 15 behind Phil Mayer.
Yeah, Phil Mayer just goes by in that 03 1989 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Joel Miller in the 62 Mazda, usually driven here by Jeremy Barnes. Ahead of Epsman, and then
Car 37 is another one of the Mazdas, but a much different one. That's an MX-6 that was campaigned back in 1989. Tom Long running that car today. Ran back in the 1990 IMSA GTU season. John Finger behind the wheel then, won a handful of races, including Long Beach and Watkins Glen.
Well-known Mazda dealer in Greenville, South Carolina. Looking for the outside pass. Not going to get it. Here's Epsman up the inside. There's Fraser's Capri and Ken Epsman giving chase. And that Firebird. Now, a furled black flag was shown, but I'm not sure at whom. One of those two cars. A furled black or clenched black flag means don't do that again.
Right.
An open black flag or waving black flag would mean come to pit road and talk to the stewards about it.
Fraser's Mercury Capri right there is a Roush team car from back in 1984.
The car that Epsman is driving is a Joe Huffaker built car as he makes the pass. The team that won the Trans Am Championship, and then they went on to build cars for IMSA GTO after Pontiac closed off the Trans Am program. That 53 was built for Bill Doyle. And Peterson Caterpillar was Doyle's sponsor.
The Whistler Mustang right there, car number 15, belongs to Chris Liebenberg. It's a 1991 edition of the Roush cars, ran in Trans Am and IMSA. Won the 24 Hours of Daytona GTO category 91 and 92, and Sebring as well in 1991.
And that's part of Ross Meyer's fabulous collection, where Chris is the curator.
It's a Robbie Gordon car, is it not?
Yep, from that era. There's about a decade separated from one end of the pack to the other here. Now that is a small block Ford car, 358 cubic inches. Dive into the inside. And making the pass on Fraser. 5th place. Chris, a very meticulous mechanic, and he's also quite a wheelman. He hopped in our Mustang last week during the prehistorics, or pre-reunion as it's called now, and very correctly diagnosed a rear suspension issue that we were having.
He's done a good job. He's already moved up to 6, and he's starting to work on 5th. Kenneth
Davis, that's the former Jim Miller car, the number 8. Runner-up in the Trans Am Series. Then it was sold to Rocket Sports, driven by Paul Gentilozzi, then Craig Schaefer, then Paul Fix, and then Davis. It's now restored back to its original 1985 Roush Mercury spec. And that's also a 5.8 liter Ford V8 pushrod V8. So looking at third on back here, Epsman, the teal colored car, Davis in orange, Frazier in red and white, Liebenberg in red.
Good pack racing here too. A bit further back, whoa, you see the Corvette getting a little loose in the back end of that machine. Justin, how about the 3 car? Phil Maher's machine.
Boy, Maher's having a nice drive. I've been watching him through the weekend. He rarely doesn't put a wheel wrong. He said he hadn't been racing in 25 years. You'd never know it. He said it's like riding a bicycle. I believe it.
Justin, you got some more for us on Phil Maher's car?
Yeah, I was just talking with one of his crew guys. They own this car, he and his brother, 25 years ago. He hasn't seen the car since then and really has done hardly any laps in it before he's out there right now. So it's just a nice story. Obviously, once a racer, whether on skis or otherwise, always a racer, I guess could be the story.
Well, if you think Phil's nuts, Steve, his twin brother, just went to Loretta Lynn's this summer, just about a couple of weeks ago, and ran in the well over 40 division.
Wow.
That's dirt bikes, of course.
The Mahers had an interesting approach to auto racing. They offered 12 months a year sponsorship. Because they had dual sports, winter sports and summer sports, and they got Xerox antifreeze and Coors beer to sign on as sponsors, and they promoted them skiing in the winter and racing in the summer. And that is the RK Smith number 77. Nick DeVitas is the driver from out of Washington.
And facing the wrong way.
Yep. Car doesn't look happy. That was one of the Chevy Berettas.
That's over at turn 3, I believe there, Mike.
Yeah, he's right at the exit of turn 3. The car over-rotated and spun on exit. There's Bill Ockerland's Camaro.
You know, the Mahers also competed in, you probably remember, the American City Racing League series. Ran Sports 2000 cars and actually had sponsorship, if you will, from different cities. It's supposed to be a concept was to kind of use like a city championship like you would have in football or baseball or basketball.
Yeah, people didn't catch on to the idea of an auto racing home team. Ockerland with a hand in the air. I talked to Bill before this race. He knew that he would have that Mazda either right on his tail or right in front of him the whole race long. And it looks like Ken Epsman has caught that group.
Looks like Phil Maher's closing in on Malone's number 88, that big thumping Corvette protofab car. It was campaigned by General Motors in the 88 season.
Yeah, that was a Darren Brassfield car. And still a lot of original parts, original conditions there.
Darren, a driver from Northern California out of San Jose.
Well, we saw Ken Epsman with his hand in the air waving at the Mazda driver behind, because we've gone full course caution to pick up Nick DeVitas at the exit of turn number 3. That's what the double yellow flags mean. University of Tennessee had optional.
Well, I think this has got to be a big break for our driver in the Mazda, Miller. He's going to get right on the backside of Ockerland here.
Yes and no. Yes, because it closes him right up to Ockerland's rear bumper. No, because on takeoff, the Mazda lacks the torque of the small block Chevy in that fast Camaro. Now, here's the other problem that Mazda driver's going to have, is now he has Ken Epsman filling up his rearview mirror. Epsman and Ockerland are old buddies from the heyday of the Trans Am series. Sadly absent here this weekend. It will return next year. And boy, they are known for swapping positions back and forth at will. Great friends off the track as well as on. But it will be an interesting to see what happens on this restart.
Of course, that IMSA GTO Mazda RX-7 that we're talking about won the 91 IMSA GTO Drivers and Manufacturers Championship that year.
Famous Amos Johnson. ran just ahead there. Ken Epsman. Now, Epsman running several cars here as well, including his Chevy Monza, the former Chris Cord car.
Got the Beretta pointed in the right direction.
And here comes Nick. Nick's been a busy boy. He was in race 4A, drove a Shelby, race 4B, excuse me, today, racing a Shelby. He always brings a couple of cars here from his collection.
Is that a Amos Johnson car, or was it Halsmer?
The 71 car was Amos's car. You're right. The 63.
I think that was Halsmer's car.
I think you're right.
That's actually running in second place.
You're right. My mistake. Got them mixed up. 62 rather, Joel Miller's car. Finished second in class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. All right, our thanks to the San Francisco Region SCCA workers as they hop back into the hidey hole at turn 5. And everybody chases this group up and around. Down through the corkscrew. Still double yellow. They will get the restart green coming out of turn 11. And for the drivers in the back, they won't see that green flag wave, but when the corner workers drop the double yellow flags, the course is green.
Well, if Miller wants a shot in that RX-7, he's going to have to close in.
Pace car's in.
And he didn't. He got left.
Big jump by Ackerman. Wow.
Well, he had a shot with him, Mike. He had to be right with him coming off the corner, and he just let him get away coming to the green, didn't he?
No substitute, Ralph, for cubic inches.
No.
Torque?
No, there's not.
Torque rules.
Well, I've owned RX-7s, as you have, and I've owned Corvettes, as I think you have, and I can tell you, if you're going to pull a stump out, you need the big old American V8, which is what's in that race-leading car.
Fourth place battle, the Mercury, the Davis, and the Roush Mustang, the Whistler Mustang, Liebenberg. Those two should be pretty evenly matched.
This one winding down with 7 laps completed, the final race in the 2017 edition of the Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion. Been a great weekend, or a great week really, here in the Monterey Bay area. All the different activities, incredible cars, over 900 applicants for this event here at Mazda Raceway, and over 500 chosen to show what they can do and let us all experience these cars in action once again.
Liebenberg looking high and wide into turn 2, and he closes within just feet of the number 8.
Slipping and sliding coming out of 3. Davis trying to get that rear end planted. Top 5 going by through here.
Next best chance for Liebenberg, absent the corkscrew, would be turn 10 or 11.
Way wide coming out of 6.
Good chance to close in here. Tough place to make a pass.
It's really, you come through the corkscrew and you got to be right on your line there, Mike, because if you hit all the corners right coming down, it sets you up for the pass at 11.
Here it is, Liebenberg looking at the inside. I don't think he's quite close enough. He stays on line. Had a little tighter line than Davis. And here they come up the hill. At least one more chance. looks like they're catching up Ken Epsman.
Yeah, they've reeled his Firebird in a little bit. The gap is only a second.
Liebenberg's there. But the way these cars are sliding around now in the late afternoon sun, it's going to be hard to make that pass. Back up front, Bill Ockerland, a finance specialist from Holland, Michigan, has quite a fleet of former Trans Am and IMSA cars, 7 at last count, including some of the under 2-liter variety.
This is obviously one of his favorites. We've seen him bring it out here before. Great looking car, and Scott Sharp made famous.
Wears a couple of battle scars, but Bill says, I don't want to paint it. That's all original paint until it's all gone. A couple of bare spots here and there, no problem.
Same thing with Phil Mayer's car, 25 years old and running the original paint on it.
Well, the Mazda's right there.
Closed in, hasn't it?
Right there.
I think they're going to have one more lap to go. Let's see. Got a little wide coming off the final corner. No, checkered flag right there. And Bill Ockerland takes the win in the final race of the weekend. 73 to 1991 IMSA GTU and GTO and Trans Am cars. But here's Phil Mayer
trying to hold off all comers coming to the line. Can he do it?
Ooh, I don't know if he had the grunt in the motor to get it done, and Malone just beats him for 7th right at the line. Phil will finish 8th, and Long will take 9th.
But another top 10 outing for Phil Mayer.
That's right.
Very good. So Epsman held on to 3rd, Davis 4th, Liebenberg 5th.
That was a great way to close out the weekend, wasn't it?
There you see some of the battle scars on the right front corner of Bill Ockerland's Camaro.
None added to it today.
No, great race. That hurry back Tommy, that's from back in the day. Remember Tommy Kendall had a bad injury and he was part of the Chevrolet team, so they put that on the car, hurry back, and never took it off. Phil Mayer waving to the corner workers and saluting the crowd after a very successful weekend.
Well, the weekend of racing might be over, but we're not done here just yet. Stay with us. We're coming right back for more from Mazda Raceway.